is enough, and it's time for a change.
Are you ready?
It is Sunday, and you're listening to the Sunday Segue Wrestling Podcast.
Give me a hell yeah! If you're some man!
Ooh, yeah!
With Kinny Killa.
Hey yo! We're in the big D tonight, baby! And we are live! Woo!
I'm the gal them sugar shoe.
The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be! Cause that's the bottom line! The Stone Cold said so!
Oh, son of a bitch, if you just heard the glass shatter, that's right, it's none other than the Sunday Segue Wrestling Podcast right here on TRN and the United Podcast Network, and I am the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour, the one man with no Instagram, Kinny Killa, and as always, I am kicking it with the hashtag tech guy, the goddamn sugar, Shugs.
Yo, yo, yo.
Now, we have so many guests on the show. It's always nice when we have loads of guests on the show. It is the return of that guy, that's right, it is Chris Dutton.
Yo.
Yo. Also, we have the return of Mr. Sharon Watson.
Hey, what's going on, everybody in the UK?
It's all good, all good. And we have a debut on the show. And later on, you guys know what that means. But we do have a debut. It's none other than from across the pond wrestling, James Marston.
Howdy, how's it going, everyone out there?
It's going good. It's nice to have another debut on the show. So how's your weekend been? How's the website going? How's everything going?
And yeah, it's been going good. I haven't put any new content up recently, but we've got a competition going on our Facebook page to win some Royal Rumble DVDs, which we're doing through a 2K15 tournament simulated. So everyone seems to be enjoying that over the weekend. So that's going to run over through till Tuesday when that finally goes out. We've got 4 copies to give away, which is, the relationship we built up with WWE Home Videos. It's always giving back to us and always allows us to give back to our social media followers and stuff like that, which is always great.
Oh man, that's nice, man. So how about you, man? How's your weekend?
How's my weekend been personally?
Yeah.
Well, just your average weekend. Went out on Friday night, went out Saturday night. I'm a student, so I go out most nights when I can, have a drink.
Love it. Just get plastered. Oh man. Oh, Sherrod, last time you was on the show, it was for a brief minute. You missed the alarm. I don't blame you. It's 5 a.m. where you at, so, too legit to quit. Love it. But now you're on the show from the beginning. How's your weekend be, bro?
It's cool. I've been riding over the weekend, so nothing too spectacular.
Mm-hmm. Well, as I seen, you wrote a really good article, which I read last night. Well, 2 this week, I think I've read. So everyone, make sure you go and check that out. Everyone will let you know where you can find it a bit later. Chris, it's been a hot minute. How's everything going? How's Celtic Commodities going?
Yeah, man, it's up and up. It's strength to strength. I love doing podcasts. I love coming on here, but I also love doing the show with Vicky. It's a good crack, and yeah, it's good.
It's good. Shucks. Did you guys play football? Is the season done yet?
No, I think we still got 8 games left or something. No, actually, we played 29, so we've got 6 left.
Okay. All right. Quick questions. All right. Bomaye or curb stomp?
Bomaye.
Trish or Lita? Transformers or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Fuck Transformers.
And if they could deliver Philly steaks, would you get one right now?
I'd be all over that ish.
Oh man. Oh, house shows. We'll be talking about house shows later, people. So today's going to be a packed show. Obviously, we're going to talk about Raw. We're going to talk about the house show experience. Also, we've got the part 1 interview with CHIKARA superstar Icarus. And we've got a new game. Beat the Clock was the one, but right about now we've got a new one called the 10 Count, which we'll get to later. But first, to all the segheads out there, make sure you check out our website, the Sunday Segue podcast.wix.com/Sunday Segue. Also, please follow us on Twitter. It's at Sunday Segue, Segue spelled S-E-G-U-E. Like us on Facebook, email us, the sundaysegue@gmail.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Podomatic, Stitcher, and don't forget to download that Double Twist player. Right, I just want to give a few shout outs. Ain't got that much time, so let's just get this ish done. Right, so what I want to do is I want to give a shout out to hashtag WWE Family Podcast, Your Wrestling Show, that's at YWS for Life. Also want to give a shout out to Adam Dean, and last but not least, Jaden McKenna. Give a shout out to Jaden McKenna right there. All right, Shugs, any shout outs?
No, I'm
Sharon?
good.
No, I'm good.
Chris?
Yeah, I've got to give a shout out to my my podcasting co-host, my partner in crime, Vicky. As always, and just in case they listen, I'll give a shout out to my my brothers at BWP Britannia Wrestling Promotions. Always nice when they listen in on my stuff. So
Nice. James?
I have to give a shout out to all the writers that have written for Across the Pond recently. So Billy Strachan, OSW TV, Sean Taylor Richardson, Matthew from Botchamania, and I'm sure I've forgotten a few more as well. But we had some good writers recently.
All right. Well, I want to give a shout out to our partners in crime, Max Wrestling Magazine. Check them out. That's maxwrestling.wix.com/Max Wrestling, and also give a shout out to our fellow TRN family. That's Chris, Chad Broughton and Courtney Broughton. Open Turnbuckle, Exposed Steel. So make sure you check that out. Right. So let's get into Raw, which was in the UK. A lot of people have similar views on this Raw, but we're going to go through it right now. Shugs. We start Raw off with the Cena Open Challenge. Barrett comes out, big pop, which is obviously nice to see. And also that's nice to see is a good match between Cena and someone that's not always in the main event.
Well, yeah, obviously Barrett came in on a high, with the Nexus angle, and, they were gunning for Cena, but that seems like a lifetime ago for Barrett, since he's had any, like, this type of exposure, and then every time he seems to be moving up the card, he seems to be injured. But I think him and Cena have always had good matches, and, he's looking in fucking great shape, Barrett. I don't know what he's doing, but he's looking, fucking cut the fuck. But yeah, I thought it was a good match. It's good, this Cena Open Challenge. The best thing is you just get to see fucking different people fight Cena instead of the same old people. That just happens lower down.
Yeah, I mean, James, is definitely very refreshing to kind of see Cena in this new fresh light. I mean, we've been banging on Cena for ages, bro. Like, what I mean? And it's just nice to be able to see him wrestle other guys, and instead of seeing him bust a long promo, we see him have a long match.
Yeah, it was nice to. It's like the last couple of weeks, as you say, it's been nice to see him mix it up with some different guys: Barrett, Stardust, Ambrose, and then I thought his promo prior to the match was actually really good as well, because he came out to loud boos, and then he kind of turned the crowd around by a little bit of pandering by saying England deserved the WrestleMania, but it worked enough. Whereas he came out to loud boos, he ended up, before Barrett came out, obviously being cheered for the tail end of his promo, and then obviously worked straight into Barrett coming out for his big pop in front of his home country crowd, which was great.
Yeah, Cena, always the professional, always knows how to draw the crowd back in. James, it must be good for the title as well.
Oh yes, definitely. It's raised it up a little bit. Yeah, obviously putting the belt on Cena. The same with the IC title and Bryan. It's just lifted it up a little bit, and the feud with Rusev as well is just giving it more of a spotlight, more of a reason for someone to want to hold on to the title, and that can only be good going forward in the next couple of months.
Mm-hmm. And it's just nice for Barrett to say, obviously I got shot at IC title, but that's not going to stop me from winning another one. Like, I'm still going to come after the US title, so that was nice. So good match, nice finish. Barrett, he kicked out the AA, which was very, very surprising, which makes me believe that Cena's going to be, putting the rub on a lot more people in terms of his moveset. But I suppose they wanted to make sure that they could put in that springboard stunner, whatever they want to call it. But let's move on. The Divas Battle Royal, Chris, big pop for Paige. I mean, you look at the ring, okay, you look in the ring and you look at all the divas that's in there, and I don't know, for me, I just feel like it's just something going wrong. You look at who's in the ring, you've got bloody you got Emma, who is a good, decent wrestler, but hasn't been promoted well. You've got Rosa Mendes. It's like, you've got all these, you know what I mean? Like, I keep telling people, like, why the hell did they have this stiff woman in the ring? Like, when you've got all these other women down in NXT.
Even the fellas on commentary were getting in on that joke.
I know.
I mean, really, it's shocking because they have this whole give divas a chance thing, and it, fair enough, on NXT you've got these like really talented women wrestlers putting on these great 10-minute matches, but if you're doing this thing on Raw, they're just not up to the same level as those people, as those women, and it's just shocking. This match was just, I know it was a battle royal, no one really cares about battle royals, but this was shocking.
It's the way these women are just like falling out the ring, just like botch the moves. It's just like, come on, man. Just get Bailey in there, give her the belly, Bailey to belly suplex, and just suplex you out the ring, and just, could you imagine if they were all shouting, "We want Bailey"? Could you imagine if she just turned up, or even just, I mean, it's a shame. But hopefully they, with AJ gone, they may have one in, one out business. But hopefully, they just think, let's get the boss up there. Let's get Sasha Banks. Let's get the rest of them up because they're ready, and no doubt. Sharon, normal shit in the battle royal, obviously. All the botches, and you get the divas, you get the Bellas chatting a load of shit that they don't understand what they're talking about. But what was telling was what happened after. Paige obviously won. She took it down, which is weird because we don't, someone in the hometown usually gets buried. But she did at the end. Naomi turning heel.
Yeah, that was a shock to me. I mean, honestly, going into the match, I thought Naomi would win. So when Paige won, I was kind of like, well, maybe they're trying to set up some type of triple threat kind of deal. But after Naomi went after her, and I mean, me personally, I didn't realize that Naomi was that strong. I mean, she was like picking up, Paige and throwing her like a rag doll. It was almost like Brock Lesnar-ish. So
I saw weave flying all over the place. Extensions, like Paige was trying to hold on to that head of hair. That's what she was trying to do. Jeez, right. She got. Oh man, but yeah, it's definitely a different turn. Shugs, I know we were, been listening to the Law, and they've been saying it's a bit weird to see Naomi like that because she's a very likable person. And it's almost like she's playing heel rather than actually, can come across nicely as a heel.
I think that's the problem with Total Divas though, because you see what they're like in, sort of scripted reality or closer to their real personalities, and then if you've got to see them being a heel on TV, the two personalities conflict, so it doesn't seem real. Whereas the Bellas are good heels because they seem like fucking bitches anyway. especially Nikki Bella.
Well, James, now just peek this, right? Who is Bray Wyatt talking about? Because I still don't know who this guy is talking about.
I'm really not sure. I heard rumours that it was supposed to be Randy Orton.
Okay.
But beyond that, I'm not. It could be anyone, couldn't it? On the roster.
Is that a feud that we could potentially get the best out of Bray Wyatt? Maybe Orton, or is there someone else that you reckon he could wrestle and have a decent program and a decent feud with?
I think he could have potentially a decent program with Orton. More in ring. I'm not sure how Orton's promo style would match up with Wyatt in terms of feuding like on Raw for like 4 or 5 weeks. But I think they'd have a decent lengthy match together, but I'm not really sure where it'd go. And the problem with Wyatt always seems to be that when he gets a new opponent, he always seems to get to that point where his opponent can't lose to him. Mm-hmm. So Orton goes over and then Wyatt's back to square one again.
Okay. Sharon, Lucha Dragons versus Ascension, or should I say the Detention? Oh man. Dirt sheets say Lucha Dragons have been drafted in a bit early because of what's happened to one of the Usos. Can't remember which one. They look the same to me, but they've been drafted in because of that, which is a big move for Lucha Dragons, I suppose, because they've managed to kind of take the Uso fans like straight away, and everyone's just loving them.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're kind of similar in a way, mm-hmm. But, the Lucha Dragons, I mean, they've been getting tremendous pops since they debuted on Raw. And it's kind of weird because, even with last week with them beating the Ascension, who, when the Ascension came up, I thought that they were getting a push because they were like challenging like all the older tag teams, and then they had a pay-per-view match against New Age Outlaws. So it's kind of weird how, their stock has fallen and now Lucha's stock is rising.
Hey man, their stock hadn't even reached the stock exchange. That's the problem. That was the problem. They didn't even give these guys a chance. As soon as they come on, just like gangbanging on JBL, talking about they ain't beating nobody, and next minute they're getting bloody clothesline from Hells and all that kind of stuff. Like 3 weeks, 2 weeks into their debut, like talk about getting your ass handed to. Just I mean, they ruined that. They could have been something. It's in the tag team division right now where it's definitely needed, but burying tag teams is not something that's kind of needed WWE at the moment. But I digress. Chris, like Sharon said, the Lucha Dragons are still over, but it feels like the matches are literally catered for Kalisto. Really, is it a bad thing?
I think it's kind of clear that Kalisto's the star. I think Icarus a good hand, he always has been. I think Kalisto has the potential to be like a next kind of Rey Mysterio kind of level performer, with merchandise and the kids, and I just think he really has something there, and he's so talented. He's got it's just something about him, and he just stands out, and they kind of catered to him, but he is the star of every match that he's been in, at least on Raw.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's a funny one because
He has all the spots in every single match they have.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm just Sin Hunico has to take a back seat. I'm still waiting for Sin Hunico to bust that powerbomb thing he does. We lifts up one hand and stuff, but he'll get his time.
Strong.
He'll get his time. But Hunico's definitely done something to raise the Sin Cara stock, because obviously the other Sin Cara kind of James, Botchamania, how many Botchamanias have you done? But all right, let's move on. The Reigns interview, okay. James, how did he do this week? It's like a running thing every week. How is Reigns done this week? Yeah, what's your thoughts?
I didn't particularly notice anything that out of place where he didn't look he seemed more comfortable than previous weeks, I thought. It wasn't spectacular, it wasn't a Paul Heyman-esque promo, but it did its job in building up what was to come later on with the taxi, but he's never going to be the greatest white guy. When you sit down, you go, okay, this is going to be a great promo. The same you do with C Punk or Chris Jericho or a Heyman. But it did its job in what he had to do.
Yeah, he got booed, but not as bad as I thought he was going to get booed. And I mean, he admitted at least that he got taken to Suplex City. Just one thing, which is good because I can believe that, Roman Reigns. You know what I mean? But Shugs, the beatdown. They finally used the taxi for something. They used the taxi for something. This guy got his handed to by Big Show.
Well, they needed to do something to make anyone want to watch Big Show against Reigns, didn't they? Because, people are just, sick of these two fucking idiots plodding around. Because the problem with Reigns is, anytime he's had a good match, he's been in with a good wrestler, and then he goes in with someone like Big Show, and he looks like a piece of shit. So they just give him a beatdown, because that's the best they could do. That's why else are they going to?
Yeah, why? It's still strange why they've gone back to the Big Show thing, because there's other guys that he could actually. I mean, we've got returning Sheamus. I think Sheamus and Reigns feud, even though we dislike both of them, but Sheamus and the Reigns feud, Bro Kick versus Spear, whatever you want to call it, would be something decent, at least with a returning Sheamus. But I would rather see that than see.
Sheamus is working. The IC though, and he's working the IC title.
Even Bray Wyatt. If Bray's talking about Reigns, then fair enough, that would be decent. But I think those two can't clash right now, because Bray's obviously lost to Taker, and again they need to kind of do what they do and kind of raise him up again after making him lose again. But it'd just be interesting to see what happens after Big Show, because Big Show, man, that agent spot is waiting for you, dog. Just take it. Just take it, please. Just take it. All right, Orton versus Kid and Cesaro. Now, Chris, I thought the match was good for what it was, but why the tag champs, man? Why did they have to do this to the? I don't understand. Why did they have to do this to the tag champs?
Do you know what? I don't get the whole Orton. Is everyone jet lagged or something? Do you know what I mean? It was really weird. They could have put anyone in that role against Orton. I don't get why they're putting the tag champs, but this is WWE logic, you know? There's still something with Cesaro. I don't know what he did, but there's something against him, and they just, every excuse they have, they're jobbing him out, and just, I don't understand.
There's obviously something in it. Look at the guy. Look at the guy. Like, just look at the guy. Like, oh man, I don't know. Obviously, they put the onus on themselves to, you know, kind of do something with their character and so what. But he's missing something. I just don't know what it is, and I just want him to be that guy. He could be a really, really good heel champion, but you know, it's just kind of a shame. Yeah, Sharon, who could have they put instead, man? We had like 11 matches on the show, dude. They could have picked two other people. I mean, they could have sent the Los Matadores out there with bloody El Torito. You could have RKO'd El Torito off the top. You could have done so much different stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they could have. I mean, he could have just had like a regular one-on-one match with Cesaro. I mean, in some sense, try to put Cesaro over for future single matches. But yeah, it was just kind of weird how they would put the tag champs against Orton. But the one thing I did like about the match is Tyson Kidd. Like, he's really starting to grow on me as far as like a complete character.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm glad you said that, because Kidd is ever since he started bringing the whole cat thing to the like NXT and all of that stuff, and the way he deals with Natalia. Now she's obviously turned heel. It was worked so well. Yeah, looking forward to seeing more from Kidd. All right, Shugs, why is Fandango trying to beg, fam? Why is he trying
I was just happy. I thought it was good. You know, they when they go to Europe or when they go to UK, they play up to the crowd. You know, they send Wade Barrett against John Cena. They do things like that. So why not give him back Fandango?
Every time this guy talks, Johnny just.
Yeah, that's what he needs to go back to. Is get going creepy again.
Not as
that's when it was working.
Yeah, carry on.
I think he's salvageable. I think Fandango's salvageable. I think they could get my big toes knocking off the sun. Yeah, I think they could still get him back. Still could be like on that level. He needs to heal it up a bit more, but I think they can make.
Yeah, I think you're right. If he emulates, not completely, because that's a bit crazy. If he does the whole Samuel Shaw thing, not that much creepy.
Yeah. He hasn't been shit all over, you know. He's just sort of dropped out of the picture, and that's better. They haven't been using him for squash matches or enhancement talent. He's just not been on TV, which is better.
I mean, the whole Sam Shaw thing on TNA is really creepy, but we don't need to go that creepy. He can still be creepy Johnny and still have, you know, that heel thing about him, and you know, he doesn't have to be creepy in the sense of creepy with the women. You know what I mean? Like, he could just be weird, just plain. Just crazy, you know what I mean? Like, and that should probably get over. But yeah, no, I like I like that. You're right. All right, so James, Brian's use on Raw, it was a bit weird. He was, you know, I didn't really like the whole interaction with him and Kane and the way they used him with Kane. It was a bit, I don't know. I found it a bit weird.
Yeah, it kind of came out of the blue. Didn't really fit the previous stuff we've seen with Brian and Kane either. Last time we saw them together was Kane pile driving Brian on the steps when they had the casket match on SmackDown, and they were still feuding for ages. And now Brian can just walk up to him and have this conversation like nothing's ever happened, just because it fit that week's storyline. For the main event storyline, it was a little bit frustrating to see them just drop a major thread of storyline that's been going on for like a year just to push something else.
All right, Chris, where are they kind of going with this Kane angle?
Do you know what? I have no idea. Originally, I thought maybe they were teasing a face turn, but really, in 2015, in 2015, do we need a face Kane again? I mean, this guy's changed more times than the Big Show. I don't know, because they just made him look like a fucking. It's a difficult one to call, isn't it? I mean, it really is.
It's the end of Kane. It's the end of Kane. Come on, you're allowed to say it, man. You're allowed to say it.
I mean, at this point, he's not putting the mask back on. There's no way that he can put the mask back on after all this, and we can take it seriously. What can they do with him now? I mean, you say the Big Show's got an agent role waiting for him. I mean, Kane's got an agent role waiting for him. Let's give it to him. Let him take it. He's already wearing the suit. You know,
Yeah.
There's nothing for him. You know, all they've got for Big Show and Kane is fucking against Roman Reigns like every week on Raw, and that's old, and nobody cares.
Yeah.
Get them off TV.
You got one big man to come from NXT, two big men to come from NXT, and then those guys will sit out. Guaranteed. Right.
They need like a heel guy to be like a heavy for the Authority. Why not give it to Sheamus?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. Yeah, we could debate this Kane Big Show thing for ages, but they're going to continue to use them until they're replaced. You know, until Finn and Hideo and all those guys are ready to come up. They're looking. To come up. Yeah, of course they're ready to come up. But Vince is like, hey, listen, I'm not ready for that yet, even though he should be bloody ready. But you know, these guys all should replace those guys. They're looking at their spots. Of course, they're looking at.
Put Kevin Owens up as a
oh
main
my!
event here.
Could you imagine Kevin Owens as the enforcer for the Authority?
Exactly.
What choking guys out.
Amazing.
All right, let's move on. Sharon, Miz and Mizdow feud. Is it fucked up already?
Man, it's been months ago. I mean, in honesty, man. I mean, I've kind of died out about this feud a long time ago because it doesn't really. Where is it going in the end? Like, I mean, it's not like Mizdow's gonna be Mizdow his entire career. So I mean, it's almost like the thing where like husband and wife they get divorced and then they fight over like money and cars and house and last name. That's what it seems like to me.
Mm. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. They need to bring Maurice back. That's what they need. This is my wife. This is what's going down. Bring Maurice back and make Sandow do his own shtick because Sandow, he's so good when he was the old Sandow, and they need to bring that back. But obviously that means turning him heel. But man, they've lost so much opportunities with this guy. I do rate the fact that the Miz has kind of come around and he's done this Hollywood Miz thing and it's worked and he's brought it back because in our eyes he's still the bull bag. He's still the bull bag in our eyes, you know what I mean? But at the same time, he's just, I don't know how to explain it. He's still the bull bag, but he's kind of turned it around just a little bit. All right, so Naomi's promo, again, it just felt a bit weird. Definitely felt a bit weird. It just didn't seem, I don't know, it just seemed like she was talking to her friend. It just, Shugs, it just felt like they were just talking, she was just talking to one of her brethren down the road. It's like, yeah, like, don't wins and losses mean anything? It just didn't seem right. Like, I don't know. What do you feel about the promo?
Yeah, I thought it was alright. It's just, the show was just like a fucking pancake one day. It was just so flat. It's just so flat and long, man. This was like the longest show of all time. The longest 3 hours ever.
Imagine,
and it was just filled with just random shit.
It was like an extended house show.
Yeah,
very awkward. But just imagine Sasha Banks in that Naomi position, man, just coming in, just fucking up Paige. She'd just be like, I do because I'm the boss, and then bam, she got the boss fucking rings just right into the screen. Done. I'm the boss. That's what we do. All right, let's move on. Ziggler Neville. Now, when Ziggler came out, James, I was talking about an open challenge and stuff. I had a feeling, I was just waiting for Neville to come on because obviously he's in UK, Neville's going to come. Just waiting for it to come. Again, they do slightly different entrance. They keep changing the entrances every week. Either way, this guy come out. Maybe it was the sound, but I didn't feel like the pop was as big as it should have been.
I'm not sure if people are used to his music yet, maybe. Or obviously, because they did change the entrance again. I'm not sure people... Because I wasn't sure who it was when the music first went off until I saw Neville down there with his fucking cape on. So I think maybe they just weren't sure who was coming out until they actually could see him, maybe. So that's maybe affected the pop.
So James, cape or no cape?
They just love giving people capes. Barrett had a cape for a while. Louis is just obsessed with capes. But I'm not sure why Neville does have a cape. Is it because he flies, so he has a cape, but he takes it off? So I don't know what the point of the cape is, like what it does for Neville. But if they want to give him a cape, fair enough. Like, it's not going to affect his matches, I suppose. But it's just a bit weird, isn't it?
Well, you're right there. It's not going to affect his matches. But what a match, though, James. What a match. I mean, I'm afraid that he may become, well, kind of what Ziggler is at the moment. You know, he's going to have a good match, but not go anywhere, kind of thing. But should Neville have won, maybe?
I'm not sure. He's had a lot of losses since debuting, but it's tended to be against guys higher up the card anyway, like big names like your Zigglers and your Rollins. So I don't think he'd particularly be hurt by losing to Ziggler. And obviously Ziggler's got a pay-per-view match at Extreme Rules. So I'd say putting Ziggler over here was the right decision, because Neville won't be hurt by a competitive loss to someone more experienced. Especially, you know, still putting on the entertaining moves that people want to see. So I don't think his star is going to fall from a loss to Ziggler. Yeah.
Shugs, you know, Neville, like we just said, you know, he's lost to the two top guys or whatever. But it's just like, I don't know. What's your thoughts on what could happen next, or what maybe should happen next for him? You know, he should definitely have a program, shouldn't he?
Yeah, well, he's been getting like good exposure. You know, if you think like the 3 matches he's had on TV, you know, he's doing really well. But now he needs a direct program. You know, someone to have a few matches with, someone to go back and forth with. But the thing I'm worried about is when he opens his mouth. That's what I'm worried about. Because people are not going to know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah,
they've been very careful not to have him speak, haven't they? At the moment.
Yeah.
It's like Cheryl Cole on American X Factor. They're like, what?
Exactly. It's just like, send this bitch
Switch
home.
it up. Switch it up.
Exactly. Get rid of this skinny bitch and get someone else on. Get someone from the Disney Channel.
Let's get Demi Lovato. And the people again over here like, who? Demi who? Exactly. Oh, well, either way. But man, that 450, that 450 splash off the side of the thing. When he was walking, I was thinking, okay, what's he going to do here? And he just stopped, parked the bus, and did a 450. I'm like, this guy is mental. And he hit that shit so crisp. It was like he was a gymnast. I just gave him 10s all round.
Yeah, but this is the thing. He ain't some like NXT fucking call up that he's been doing this shit for time, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's good. He just needs the right, right handling, which probably won't happen.
I'm waiting for Brian Neville. That's what I'm waiting for, man. Oh man, it's gonna be crazy. Sharon, let's go to whatever the main event was. But you know, thoughts on Orton and Rollins step. Was it a bit stupid to have them both win and both have a step, or would you have maybe done it different?
Yeah, I mean, I would have just. It made more sense just to have Orton get the win, just so he can, you know, have the stipulation. Because I mean, if you think about it, they kind of have Rollins playing the scared champion role, which is, I mean, I don't really think that's a good fit for him. I mean, because he's been strong character-wise for at least the entire year. So I think it definitely would have been better with just having Orton get the win.
Mm-hmm. Which means we would have just got a steel cage match with the RKO, but what we get is a steel cage match, no RKO, which means he's got to be a bit creative. We probably won't see a new move out of Orton's arsenal. But yeah, I suppose it just means that we'll probably get a curb stomp. We'll get some kind of clusterfuck shenanigans going on, but it's going to be interesting to see, you know, how Orton kind of, you know, is he going to scale the top of the cage? Is he going to do something death-defying? Robotic Orton says no, but new Orton with knee pads and shoulder pads, ride like he's going to ride a tricycle, may do something different, but we'll see. Chris, J&J, I feel sorry for these guys. They keep, listen, these guys keep taking RKOs, and it's not like they're taking, because they're not tall, right? So they're closer to the ground. So their ass are getting kicked, like, horribly, taking horrible, close to the ground RKOs. I just feel sorry for these guys, man.
Yeah, I mean, I know that they're kind of retired anyway. They're not really like in-ring competitors anymore. But really, I still kind of think that if you're gonna have anybody be taking moves like this, I mean, look at Kane taking RKOs. He looks like the biggest geek ever. Like, this is your monster, and he's taking RKOs like every fucking week, and spears and all the fucking finishes. But really, you could put anybody in that position. Maybe some guys that are actually, you know, part of the roster, considering these two actually aren't active. You know, I know it's supposed to make it more realistic because we know that they actually work behind the scenes, and that's fine. But really, it's odd that they're just, you know, making them bump every week, and they're not actually workers anymore. You know, they're agents. It's weird.
I mean, it would be nice to see them kind of get one up on Randy Orton and just kind of just hook him up.
I mean, really, and I know, I get that the snooze is right, but if you're the Authority and you're trying to build your kind of army of big dudes to protect, like, Triple H and Steph, why have you got these two little guys trying to act like fucking monsters? You've got a roster full of giants, and yeah, you've got Kane and Big Show, but you've got massive people in that roster, and you're putting fucking Jamie Noble out there trying to beat up fucking Roman Reigns. What do you think's going to happen, mate?
One don't talk, and when the other does talk, he sounds country. I love when Jamie Noble's like, Randy.
It is funny, right? It is Patterson and Briscoe funny, and I get that's the whole point of it. But come on, it's not very realistic.
Oh man. Anywho, that's the end of Raw, people. That is the end of Raw. So what I want to do right now is just get some Raw ratings. Shugs.
4.
Chris.
I'll give it a 6 just because the crowd was behind quite a bit of it. And the UK shows, it did kind of feel like a house show, but it was kind of fun. And seeing Dave Mastiff as a fucking leprechaun just made my night, so. What a waste. And he thought a British boot camp was a bad idea.
James?
Go for a 5. It was alright, it was passable, but there was nothing particularly that stood out.
Sharon?
I give it a 5. I mean, the storylines were hit and miss at times, but the fans were great.
Cool. Lucha.
This guy,
we'll get to that in a bit. It's alright. We'll get to that. Because I know you want to start ripping on me, so we'll get to that a bit later. But, alright, let's go to Raw feedback. You got your ish up, Shugs?
Oh, mate, I ain't even reading this shit, man.
What's wrong with you? Participate, man. Fuck you, man.
Alright. Let me load it. What is it? Facebook.
Oh shit! You need to go on that WWE reading shit, man.
Oh yeah, me and fucking Rey Mysterio in a mask reading.
Kofi Kingston and his concave chest.
Kofi can't read.
All right, I'll start it off.
He doesn't even know where he's from. How can he fucking read?
Jamaica me crazy. All right, let me just start this shit. Michael Cook, the Cookie Cutter podcaster himself, he said, I like the show this week. 450 from Neville was brilliant. The Rollins versus Orton build to the stipulations could have been more creative. Imagine if they both wrote down a stipulation and Kane revealed it at the end of the segment. Rollins' paper had ladder match written and Orton's a cage match. So a ladder in a cage match. That would have done anyway. Or that's what he would have done.
Steve Dawson. This week I decided just to watch the segments and matches that interested me, and guess what? It was far more enjoyable way to watch Raw. Opening match was enjoyable with the same formula as the last few weeks. Cena kicks out of opponent's finisher and wins. Cena needs to be careful he doesn't kill the finishers of mid-card wrestlers while doing this weekly open challenge. Neville v Dolph was class. 450 off the rail was mental and great, but slightly surreal to see a big bad Dave Mastiff from Progress as a leprechaun Rosebud. If Hornswoggle is a little bastard, then Mastiff is a fucking massive bastard.
And last we got Tony Walker. It was an okay Raw. Paige winning the Battle Royal was cool. But the thing that spoiled it for me is the way they build Rollins and Orton at the Extreme Raw stipulation wise. Kind of feels that I've seen it all before. Orton cannot use the RKO. And let me think, didn't Shawn Michaels have that in a match with Orton at Survivor Series once predictable? Because with Rollins always winning, it always seems to be predictable. 6 out of 10. P.S. Do not get me started on Kane. So done with Kane. Bring back the big red monster. Come back the big red monster. Alright, so that's the end of the feedback. What we're going to do is we're going to go to a break. Then we'll be back with Sugs Stunners, RIP Smackdown in 60 seconds, where we'll be talking about the house show experience, interview with CHIKARA superstar Icarus, and the 10 count and track of the week. So don't you miss it.
This is CHIKARA superstar, former Grand Champ Icarus. You're listening to the Sunday Segue Wrestling Podcast.
And we're back, people. Sunday Segue Wrestling Podcast. It's your boy, Kinny Killa, here with the hashtag Tech Guy, the gal, them sugar shugs. Also guests, Sharon Watson, James Master, and also Chris Dutton. Right about now, it's time for Sugs Stunners.
Okay, So, what is this? Jobber of the week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give it to Roman Reigns.
Ooh.
He got that beat down. If you're getting beat up by Big Show, you know you're jobbing out. It's Big Show. Please, like Crowd said it right. Please retire. Please retire. That's how much the fans love Big Show, and you're getting dashed into a taxi by him. Move of the week goes to Neville. 450 splash off the ring apron. You know, what more do you want? And wrestler of the week. Who was good? Nobody. I'll give it to Ziggler.
Ziggler, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Ziggler. My man Ziggler takes it down. All right. Okay, let's go to RIP SmackDown in 60 seconds. For the seconds that don't know, RIP SmackDown in 60 seconds means who gives a fuck about SmackDown? That's what we're saying, and that shit ain't coming back until, well, it's up to Sugs. But right now we use this segment to talk about other stuff. So let's talk about the house show experience. Me and Sugs, we recently went to a house show. We went to Cardiff. Yeah, it was Sugs' first house show. Sugs, what was your thoughts on the house show?
Yeah, I think it was just, it's like a totally new experience, seeing it real life, seeing like the wrestlers there, and I think hearing the wrestling match is like a totally different sound, because you hear it on TV and it doesn't sound as like hard hitting and as like tough as it does when you're there in real life. Yeah,
it was a different feel, and to see Orton get the gum sweet-chinned out of his mouth.
Yeah, and those like big loogies they spit out every time like somebody hits them in the face, and they just. Yeah.
I swear, Goldust did it like multiple times, man.
Yeah. It was just like a new experience, for like a really good experience.
And we were close as well. We were close to the entrance, which is cool. You see all the little kids running up and shit, and like trying to high five them and stuff.
Yeah.
But what I want you to do is just play my music right now for that guy that started running past everyone, that big guy, and didn't say shit.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what happens when you've got crowds. You're gonna get some fucking idiot.
This guy, I'm gonna rant on this guy right now. This guy decided to run past. I didn't even say excuse me. He just decided just to squeeze past with his big ass, squeeze past everyone, yeah, and not even say shit. Listen, the next time you do that shit when me and Shugs is at a house show, that's right, the one man with no Instagram and the hashtag tech guy, you're gonna get a free D. No matter whether you're going to get some fucking food, whether you're going to get a hot dog, whether you just started to piss yourself, I don't give a shit. If you come past us and you don't say excuse me, free D. Multiplied by an RKO into a curb stomp. You dig? Now can you dig?
Jesus.
Yeah, that's what happens. Anyway, Sharon, have you been to a house show?
Yeah, actually, I went to one in January.
So what was that experience like?
It was cool. It was my first house show. I mean, I've been to pay-per-views in Raw and SmackDown, but the house show seems different, and it's kind of weird because, in house shows, they kind of cheer for the wrestlers that normally get booed on television.
Yeah, Ryback was getting it, man. Ryback was getting it on our house show until he started doing the Feed Me More. I mean, there was a lot of kids in our one. There was a lot of kids. Which isn't a bad thing, I suppose. But it was just funny, Shucks, because in behind us, you would hear these kids just like saying, "No, stop it, Rollins! Stop it!"
Like, get him, Randy. Get him.
Yeah. Just use the RKO. Just use it now. Like they were playing a video game or something, and just press R2, and then it just bust the finisher. But yeah, man, it was definitely a different experience, and it was nice. It was definitely.
It was good. Like the first place that we went in, we sat down to have some food, and some guy came up trying to sell us Levi's. He's like, yo, bruv, I got these Levi's, yeah, £80 in the shops, £20. The man had like a sliced up face that like looked like it'd been stitched up just like behind the fucking local fucking spa or something.
I forgot about that. That was great, man. We were there just talking about the ish, yamming our food, and this guy just decided just to start selling shit. Only in Cardiff, man. Only in Cardiff, Wales. God.
And then, because the game was on Man United, Man City, me and Kinny were just like loving life. We was like, it's going to take 15 minutes for the doors to open to get in, so the show won't probably start till like 1:15. So we leave, we get about 20 past. We've missed Bo Dallas, my hero. We've missed my fucking #1 wrestler of all time, Bo. And we're halfway through the lucha match.
Yeah, man.
Luchadors against the detention.
When I said I knocked the guy in front and I said, "Oh, is this the first match?" And he goes, "Nah." I said, "Who was the first match?" He said, "Oh, Bo Dallas." The look on Sugar's face.
It's like somebody just come in and pissed on my Christmas tree.
It was so funny, man. It was so funny. And then we literally, as we're walking to our seats, the lucha started, and I was gassed. I was there going, "Lucha." Sugar's looking at me like, "What is this guy doing? Am I meant to do the lucha? And what am I meant to do?"
I wanted my seat, man. Never mind fucking lucha.
But yeah, it was nice. And I'll tell you what was also good. Watching the Divas wrestle and seeing the bumps that they take. I mean, Paige took one horrible bump where I think it was Nikki or one of them anyway came and just like dragged her down and she hit her face on the apron. That was horrible. And Brie took it was Naomi. You know when Brie goes, "Brie mode," she ran and she kneed Naomi full on in the face. It was horrible. But yeah, house show experience. Yeah, it was great, man. Me and Shibs would definitely be on that shit again, without a shadow of a doubt.
It's easy. Cardiff's nice and easy, nice and easy to get to. Jump on the train, no drama. The stadium's nice, however. It's just like, it's a good show as well. Good card, good show. 5,000
people, nice. All right, so right about now, what we're going to do is we're going to go into our part 1 interview with CHIKARA superstar Icarus. Now, Icarus recently came to London. We faced off against Hallow Wicked for the Grand Championship. He was the Grand Champion. So yeah, I want to give a shout out to Billy the Mark Johnson who let me know about that. So it was great talking to Icarus. Really good guy, really nice interview. So make sure you check that out now. Hello all segheads out there, it's your boy Kinny Killa, Sunday Segue Wrestling Podcast, and I like to interview the best in pro wrestling, and right about now we have CHIKARA superstar, none other than Icarus. How you doing, Icarus?
I'm doing great. It's a lovely Saturday morning over here on the East Coast, far, far away from the UK, which I was just recently in and enjoyed very much.
Yeah, across the pond indeed. What's the weather like where you at?
Right now it's actually really gorgeous. It's probably in the 70s. Nice and warm, little breeze, little morning, so it's a bit chilly, but very nice.
As they like to say over in the UK, it's chilly here all the time, mate. So we're enjoying a bit of sun right now. But yeah, let's get into this interview right now because I know what the seg heads are. I've been waiting for this interview. Quite a few of our listeners went to see you at CHIKARA in London, so they'll be very happy that I've managed to that you've actually given us the opportunity to interview you. So let's do this. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Pennsylvania, right outside of Philadelphia. For the most part, I traveled around as a kid. I lived in a few different states. But for the most part, I grew up right outside of Philadelphia.
Okay, and did you get much wrestling on TV?
When I was younger, I used to watch the Superstars in the morning on Saturday mornings, but we never had cable, so probably for a good 10 years, I never got to watch Raw. I would go to my friend's house and watch the pay-per-views when it was just Survivor Series, King of the Ring, SummerSlam, WrestleMania, and Royal Rumble. But, I didn't get my weekly dose until I was probably closer to 15. I started watching more.
Okay. Hey, that's exactly the same as me, my friend. Literally had no cable, nothing. We used to get the pay-per-views on videotape. and that was it. So your angles were just pay-per-views. That was it. You didn't see nothing happening on Superstars or anything. So, yeah, I feel you on that one. What was your earliest wrestling memory then?
My earliest wrestling memory was actually SummerSlam of '91, if I remember correctly. It was the match made in heaven, the match made in hell with the Macho Man Randy Savage main evented with Miss Elizabeth in a wedding, and Sergeant Slaughter and Hulk Hogan main evented in a match, and that was the match made in heaven, and Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth was the match made in hell, as time would go to tell.
Yes, indeed. Oh man, yeah, I remember that pay-per-view like the back of my hand. We do a retro roundtable show, and we just recently covered that one, so yeah, definitely remember it like the back of my hand. Did you always want to be a wrestler?
When I was a child, I used to dream about being Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. My friend who actually got me into wrestling, he had to be Mr. Shawn Michaels. So I was forced to be Marty Jannetty doing the rocker dropper from the bed, the dresser to the TV stand, and then I don't know. It kind of faded away because I couldn't watch wrestling a little bit, but in my teenage years, the Attitude Era, it really picked back up, and high school was, it was always a thought like in the back of my head, like maybe one day I'll do this. And then my first year of college, I really decided like this is something I want to pursue, and I just see where it can go. And ever since then, saved up all the money I had for wrestling school and never looked back.
Wow. So what made you get into wrestling? Did anyone inspire you like Shawn Michaels?
I think a lot of it was just the fact that I was young and impressionable, and I went out and my buddy and I got a trampoline at a local Walmart, and we were playing WWF No Mercy and WrestleMania 2000 for the N64, and we would go through the move lists and then go outside, and even though it specifically said do not try this at home, we would then try everything at home. And I think I just kind of fell in love with the physicality of it and kind of the athleticism of it. And being able to do some of the moves didn't help either.
So who trained you then? Which wrestling school did you go to?
The first one we started out was a school called BC Bumps in Allentown, where we were there from basically May of 2001 until October 2001, at which point they shut down, closed the doors and left us there out in the cold. And then Quack actually opened up the Wrestle Factory January of 2002 in the same location. So we started at the one school, and it was only learned a few things, like 6 months of that, and we transitioned right over into my school. There's Hollow Wicked and I, and then Blind Rage was actually from BC Bumps as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow! So Blind Rage was there, because I know obviously you and Hollow Wicked are quite close, and I didn't realize Blind Rage was part of that also. You made your CHIKARA debut in 2002 as Archer Blood Slain, is that right? As part of Night Shift. How did you guys get that name?
Well, Blind Rage already had this. He was wrestling goth rock monster, and I think he was inspired a lot by the band Misfits. Mm-hmm. So as the school kind of went on, there were some natural pairings, because Blind Rage, Hollow Wicked, and I all we all trained together, and then Mr. Zero, Ultra Mantis, and Dragonfly, they all kind of they all knew each other from the past, and they all trained together. So we split off into these like weird groups naturally, and then I'm not sure how the name Night Shift even came about. I do remember for Ichabod Slain, an email was sent out of all these like really horrible names.
Can you remember
that were a play off Ichabod Crane, but I believe in the end it was Blind Rage was in a band at the time, and his drummer's name was Ichabod Slain, and I pilfered that right off of him.
Stole it right off of him. I love that. Okay, so obviously part of Night Shift was Hollow Wicked and Blind Rage. Storyline purposes, there started to be some kind of tension in the team, and you ended up wearing a dress, bro. How did that happen?
In a match against the why is the name not? It was Diamond Montoya, Reckless Youth, and Mike Quackenbush.
Okay.
The stipulation of the match was loser wears a dress. And I want to say it's the Black T-Shirt Squad. I know it's the BTS, but for some reason my brain is blanking whether it's the blue or the Black T-Shirt. The Black T-Shirt Squad. But the stipulation was that whoever gets pinned has to wear a dress. And so, actually, that was the last match at the Wrestle Factory. We closed down for a few months, and then when we came back to St. John's, in Grand Akuma's debut match, there I was wearing this really ugly yellow flower dress.
I'll tell you what, that's one thing about CHIKARA that I love is that you never know what you're going to get. You can have a hair versus mask, trios, all kinds of stuff could go down. And, man, dress, that's deep. That's deep.
Yeah. I don't know if that's been done since in CHIKARA. I think one was enough for that.
You might have to bring that back up. Rematch with Hollow Wicked. Dress. A grand champion title versus a dress. You loser wins the dress. So you ended up facing Rage in a mask versus hair match. Because I don't know if the Segheads know, when you first debuted, you wore a mask. So you lost the mask against Rage. Was you ready to lose the mask? Was it time?
I remember being really hesitant about it, and I remember the whole day and part of the night. Like, I kept the mask on for a long time before and after the show. It was very weird. It was losing part of my personality, and I'd only been wearing it for maybe 7 months. I debuted in May, and the hair versus mask match was in December. So I didn't even have it that long. I do remember being a little upset, and then of course when I re-debuted as Icarus, it was a little bit refreshing. I had the hair that was way too long. I look back at this picture and I don't know what I was thinking. But yeah, I wasn't ready to, but I'm glad I did. It was a very good transition.
So like you said, you came back. You came back as Icarus. Tell me about Team Fist, right? What does Fist stand for, and how did that come about? So
FIST is an acronym that has never had a meaning to it. I've heard people say it stands for Friends in Similar Types. It was never really given a name.
Okay.
And it was always like this kind of tongue-in-cheek joke, in that clearly it's an acronym because we put the periods in between each letter, but we're never going to reveal what it means. There's a few, like Icarus' stupid tattoo, and Internet S-talkers, Friends in Similar Types. There was one Kingston yelled at once, and I can't remember what it was, but that was a fun game we used to play, of just coming up with. We used to come up with all the different things that FIST could stand for, and then years later we would come up with different names for all the new ants that we would eventually make, even years before the ones, and half of them we haven't even used.
There you have it. Part 1, we finished that there. Next week, make sure you come back for part 2. We'll talk more about Icarus and his time in CHIKARA, his history with Hollow Wicked, and also whether this guy would take a WWE tryout or not. Ooh, we'll soon find out next week. Alright, so what we're going to do, new game right about now, it is called the 10 count. Beat the Clock is gone, and it's the 10 count. It's the 10 count is time right now. So what we're going to do, before we go into that, James, you It's your debut on the show. So what you have to do is you have to give us your best Macho Man Randy Savage impression, and then let us know who your favorite wrestler is currently and your favorite wrestler of all time.
Okay, let's give it a go.
Oh yeah, dig it. Snap into a Slim Jim.
How was that?
Shugs.
Yeah, I think it's good. Authenticity was 8 out of 10.
Nice. I like the Slim Jim bit. That was wicked. I just put that in there. Who's your favorite current wrestler and your favorite wrestler of all time?
At the moment, probably Seth Rollins is my favourite wrestler for WWE. I think he stands out character-wise and in the ring. In terms of all time, probably Ric Flair. Similar reasons, character and in ring, always impeccable, always fully in character, always impeccable in the ring. Just a fantastic worker all round, really.
Okay, right. So 10 count. Chris Dutton, my friend. Right about now, I am nominating you to be the very first contestant on the 10 count. So this is how it works. All right. Are you cool with that?
Yeah.
All right. So
sure.
This is how it works. Okay. You have 10 seconds. We have 2 categories here. You pick one category, right? And then you have 10 seconds to name as much answers. Give me as much answers as you can. We will put a leaderboard up on the website, also on Facebook. So 2 categories. Category A or category B? Pick one, please.
B.
B. Okay. The IC title. Right. That is your category. Okay. Shugs. Can you take the 10? Can you do the 10 count, please? While I will tick off the answers. Right.
Do I have to do it out loud?
No, you don't have to. Just do 10. Just use the Skype clock, my friend. Use the Skype clock. Do the 10 seconds.
Cool.
All right, cool. So, Shugs, when you're ready. So, what I want Chris to do is name as many IC champions in 10 seconds as he can. All right. So, Shugs, when you're ready.
Okay. 2, 1, go.
Daniel Bryan, Bad News Barrett, Rock, Triple H, Owen Hart, Shawn Michaels, Goldust.
10.
Done. That was good. Right, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. Good. And you never have made no mistakes. That was good. So 7 on the leaderboard. Right. Who?
No pressure.
No pressure. We got one more category. Someone wants to do the next category. Sharon or James, it's up to you. Who wants to take it? Who wants to run the gauntlet?
I'll take it.
Yeah, all right. I like that, Sharon. Right, so you get category A, my friend. Category A is managers. All right,
okay.
Managers. So, Shugs, when you're ready, you got the 10 seconds. So what Sean want to do is name as many WWE managers as you can. Okay. All right. So, Shugs, when you're ready.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Paul Heyman, Terry Runnels, Sensational Sherry, Miss Elizabeth, Bobby the Brain Heenan.
10.
Woo! That was great. All right, you got 5, and they were all right answers as well, which is great. All right, 5. So we're gonna put you on the leaderboard also. So right about now, Chris, leader with 7. That's nice. So from now on, people, anytime you want to run the 10 count, just let the hashtag 10 guy and the one man with no Instagram, Kinny Killa, know. All right. So. Well done for that one, guys. That was pretty good. So, all right about now, it is the end of the show. It is the end of the show, people. I want to thank our guests, Across the Pond Wrestling, none other than James Marston. Please let the people know where they can find ones on Twitter and where they can find Across the Pond Wrestling.
On Twitter, we are at ATP Wrestling. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/Across the Pond Wrestling. And the website's www.acrossthepondwrestling.co.uk.
Okay.
Check it out.
Also, I want to say thanks to that guy, Chris Dutt, and let the people know where they can find you on Twitter and also Celtic Commodities.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at that guy and at Celtic Commodity. Yeah, that's it pretty much.
Okay. And Sharon, you made it all the way through, my friend. You made it all the way through. Can you let all the people know where they can find all your articles, please?
Yeah, you can find them at www.rumblingrumors.com. You can also find them on Wrestling Informant and Camel Clutch blog.
Okay. All right. And obviously, I cannot do this without the hashtag tech guy, the Garden Sugar Shugs.
It's always a pleasure, mate. Always a pleasure. Gets me into bed on a Sunday.
All right. Track of the week. Track of the week this week will be the Four Horsemen. The Four Horsemen. And if you don't like that, you can choke on that, slap nuts. Woo!